performance overall today? Obviously, you had 4 touchdown passes and a big part in that, but what did you make of it overall?
I thought it was good. Obviously things we want to clean up. First couple drives had some opportunities to get burned on third down and didn't quite do it. I thought the offensive line played really solid today. Obviously our backs did a nice job in the run game, and they kept me clean, the majority of the game, and that's a recipe for success when you play on offense. So big shout out to those guys up front. I thought they played great.
In the third quarter, particularly, what did you see from Kyron, how he was seeing some of the levels that were opened up for him and how he was hitting those?
Yeah, I'll have to go back and look at it, but I thought, obviously it starts up front. Our guys on the perimeter did a nice job blocking, and then, it seemed like, the run was over, and then I would look up and he'd get 5 more. So that's the kind of back that he is, that Blake is. Those guys are really good football players, so we give those guys space. Good things are going to happen for us.
Huge motivational change, or momentum rather, at the start of the third quarter on that 0 blitz. Describe what you saw, and does Cooper make the adjustment and what you were seeing?
Yeah, it was, off the ball kind of base defense, late hitting 0 a little bit. They're trying to hold it and get to us. I kind of alerted right away to, Coop. That's kind of the route that he's, running. He didn't change it too much. Did a really nice job of just kind of making something happen at the top of it. Don't really run a seam route versus 0 very often, in NFL football. So I thought he did a great job of kind of giving me an indicator. I put it to a good spot, and then he did the rest.
You have 10 touchdowns in the last 4 games combined. Does that speak to a comfort level or a confidence level?
Just trying to play good football. You look at it today. It's all things, right? Coop made a great play. On that play, Puka made a great, diving catch on another one. Colby did a great job of keeping his feet down in the back of the end zone on another. It takes everybody. It was just a good offensive day. We left points out there, a few different times, but, continue to try to get better and better.
You were 2 questions, actually. You were pretty specific about your memories of the last trip here
Yep.
for you. These memories will be better, I guess.
Yeah.
And how does it feel to move up the career passing touchdown list?
Yeah, obviously a better day today than we had in the past. Similar type defense, not as, many nuanced things, but it was a better day for us on offense. And then moving up the list, it's humbling. It is every week. Obviously, if something happens, it's a really cool thing to be a part of. I love this game, love the history of it. Have so much appreciation for the guys that came before me and really the guys that are coming after me. So, just a humbling thing.
What did you see from Puka on the touchdown catch?
That was a great route. Great route. And Wynn made a great catch. It was kind of like right in the sun spot. First 2 touchdowns were right there. So, but they did, Coop and Puka did a nice job of bringing those in. Obviously, ran a great route and then finished it off like he always does.
You guys were 3 of 4 in the red zone today. What was different?
Just execution, right? It's no secret. We were up against the clock on the one drive when we were down in there, so it makes it a little bit difficult to kind of do everything you really want to do in that 2-minute drive. But, just guys making plays. That's what it is. We had some opportunities to make them. I tried to give them chances, and those guys made them.
Sean was saying that today was like the start of the second half of the season.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that? What do you guys have to do to be more than a 500 team?
Yeah, you gotta string wins together. That's what you got to do. You got to try to build off momentum, things that you do positive, and find ways to get better at the things that maybe didn't go your way in the game. Each game is a different one, and it's going to have a different flow to it. You're going to have to find a way to win it, which is the most important thing. But continue to try to be as good of a football team as we can be, and then when those opportunities arise in games to finish people off, we got to do a good job of finishing people off.
It looked like you guys
My thoughts on Drake May? Yeah, really talented player. I've watched a little bit of crossover tape just, from games, but really talented kid. Obviously can move great in the pocket. I thought he stood in there a few times today and made some really nice plays on third down. He's got a bright future.
How did Bo handle this week coming back into the starting lineup, and how did he handle tonight's game?
Did a nice job. There's always going to be ones that we want back. I think of a third down kind of on their sideline. I had to flip one out to Coop, and really I should have gotten it straightened out there a little bit better. So, but I thought handling the different looks, different personnels that they wanted to try to play against us, I thought he did a nice job, but I'll have to go see.
Take us through your touchdown catch and what happened after.
Oh, yeah. Trying to
trying to be able to be a part of the run game and then try to run out and outrace that corner. And man, it wasn't great leverage, but Matthew put the ball up there and then just left the rest up to me and be like, man, I got to get there to that ball, because that was our talking about the opportunities that we were going to have, and especially as wide receivers when we get in the red zone. That was my first touchdown of the season, so super excited for that, but also be like, man, it feels every time you get in the red zone, you come away with 6. It feels a lot better.
And you went into the blue tent after. Were you okay?
Yeah, feeling all good. I guess some nicks and bruises and stuff like that. Maybe try to catch my breath a little bit, but I felt good.
How do you, as much as you cut balls from Matthew, how do you know when he's clicking like he was today, Puka?
Shoot, I feel like it's every day, so I'm like, I just try to make sure. I'm like, man, what did it look like when he was eating breakfast this morning? But, man, it feels best when he gets out there and you see that ball come out of his hand. You just trust that it's going to be in the right spot, and I feel like it's something that I try to mention all the time. Is like, man, trying to be even better in my route position because you know he's going to put it in the one spot it can be. So when you win a good route and you work the technique at the top of the route and you create separation, a great ball makes it look like 7 yards of separation for a good route.
I know the mantra here is just to go 1-0, but coming off a tough loss, short week, East Coast, what are you most excited or optimistic about moving forward after a game like this?
I guess a little bit of rest, to go, a nice flight home and to rest and digest the game and then be ready to go back at it again. I feel like we had a lot of, Coop had 2 touchdowns and we're getting the receivers involved, and I feel like that's something we pride ourselves in. You know, there's a little bit of 12 personnel out there, but always excited for all of our guys to go out there and make plays. Kobe had his first touchdown today, and I think we've been able to show the versatility that we can provide in whatever personnel grouping we put out there, and we just got to go out and continue to put our best foot forward.
You mentioned the receivers. Obviously, Matthew has trust in all of you guys, but when you and Cooper in particular are having games like you did today, what does that do for the offense?
I think it helps everybody. The vibe, the mojo. I mean, that's our leader. That's our guy. So when number 10 is feeling great, it bleeds into everybody else. And you see those two. There's a reason they call him 9 and dime. So it's fun to be able to out there to watch. I turned around. I was running a scout route on the other side. I turned around and I see Cooper walking the end zone. I put my hands up, and walk straight to the side, and I'm like, hey, series don't get better than that. So.
Gonzalez has followed for the Patriots. Christian Gonzalez has followed opposing, top number 1 wide receivers pretty much throughout the first 10 weeks. We didn't see him a ton on you or Cooper today. Did you make anything about that? Did you expect to see more of him, or just kind of that matchup?
Yeah, we definitely were coming in expecting man. That's what they had shown. Some of the receivers. I was definitely excited for that matchup. I had a chance. I had a chance to play him in college, but I was hurt, so we didn't get to play. So you're always excited to go up against some of the best. Obviously we had Jalen Ramsey, who was just barely here last week. But then, man, you also feel like we got a lot of guys in our receiver room, so we put a big challenge to the defense. So.
Did you guys see a lot of zone today? It seemed like.
I wouldn't say there was too many man ops that they gave us, but then when we were ready, Coach dialed up the right play.
Have you ever been to New England before?
No, this is my first time. Honestly, I was like, somebody said we were in Rhode Island, so I was like, that's the first to me. I crossed off a state.
Did the Patriots talk to you at all before the draft? Did you have any conversation with them? Do you remember?
I believe so. I remember actually they were asking me about my blue light glasses. These are raw optics. They're a night pair to get ready to go to bed, and they were asking. So I was like, oh man, maybe they thought I was like really prepared to take care of my body, which I feel like I'm getting better at. But that was the one of the things I remember from the Patriots interview.
Puka, was the early start, cross country flight, and an early start on the East Coast, was that a challenge for you and you guys, you think?
No, not too bad. I feel like I'm a good sleeper. I didn't stay up to watch the Cougs play, so that's why I was ready to go to bed. But I woke up to sad news. But it was also great news because we get to play on Sunday. So.
I want to ask you about Hunter Long, his progression in his blocking specifically.
What was that? Sorry.
Hunter Long, progression in year 2, what you got, his blocking specifically, and how he just operates with offense.
100%. I think of somebody who's consistent in the opportunity of, man, when the number is called to switch our personnel, and somebody there's no hesitation, no flinch, and there's somebody who knows the play calls in and out. So it makes it flow seamlessly.
Hey, Cooper, I want to ask you about Hunter Long, year 2, what you guys, and just what he brings to the table for you guys.
Hunter
Long, yep.
Yeah. No, he's been awesome. I mean, what you've seen, he's had some stuff. He's been hurt and had some stuff where he's, coming in here and being in and out and finding ways to get on the field. When he's been on the field, man, he's just been really good for us. So, kudos for him for, obviously everyone wants to be able to play. But even when he's, not out there being able to prepare himself for when these opportunities come up, he's been awesome.
Cooper, how much on that, and I apologize if you've answered this already, but on that zero blitz to start the third, Was that your recognition and his? How much did you change?
Yeah, so that was, they've been showing us a lot of this stuff. They're getting back into these clouds and things like that. So, that nickel was off, or the DB, wherever you want to call them. They were moving guys around all over the place. But, they had, Jones off and outside at about 8 yards. They had Duggar inside, and I thought they were going to get some kind of 220, Tampa safety look and be able to drop out of there with how far off he was. And but on the snap, Duggar disappeared, and what I thought was going to be a Tampa 2 ended up just being like a soft 0, and it goes back to a very old rules we used to have about running seam routes against 0 and about speeding that thing up and ripping in there, and Matthew was just ready to go. And it's not something we've talked about in a while, but being on the same page with him it's huge when you can do those, when you make those plays where it is, you got small margins. Matthew's getting hit and letting that ball go, trusting I'm going to be where I'm supposed to be. So I'm glad we were able to make that one come alive.
It was one play, but it seemed like a complete momentum changer. Is that accurate?
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, obviously you drive down at the end of the first half, and some opportunities that I wish I was able to make a play down there in the red zone for us. Kudos to them on defense, making it tough, and obviously not being able to come away with points there, but being able to come out in the second half and right off the bat be able to get something going, that goes a long way. So it was huge to get that going, and then obviously from there be able to next drive be able to just run the ball and feel like, man, we just chunk the ball down the field with the way Kyron and the guys up front moving guys, and it was good. And there's gonna be stuff to clean up.
At 5-5, what do you think you guys need to do to put together a playoff run?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing I've said over and over again. I mean, we got to trust this process. Trust that what we're doing is the right thing. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel or anything like that. It's just, can each of these guys, what can you do a little bit better? What can you do a little bit better in that process that allows you to prepare yourself to be the best you can out there? And I think, the guys that were in here, I mean, we're our best and we're having fun. And remember that there's all this preparation, all this work that goes into it. But when you get here on Sunday, just let it go. Let it go. Go play. Enjoy this game. It's meant to be enjoyed.
Were you guys the same? You and Kendrick the same year at Easter?
Yeah, we were. Well, he came in the year after me. But he trued. So we ended up going on the same 4 years playing together. So
For a while there, it was all Eastern scoring.
I know it was. I mean, Eastern Washington University representing FCS. The real football is played in the Big Sky. So if anyone's curious, that's where the real football is played.
Was that adjustment onto that seam route similar to what happened in Tampa Bay, or completely different?
Yeah, no, it's different because, in that situation, like, we give a certain route, there's adjustments off of whatever route you're running, there's adjustments for 0. When we have to play against Tampa Bay, whether it's 0, whether it's 2, whatever it is, I'm running through that safety. This situation where I'm running a seam, there's adjustments you have off of that depending on what the coverage gives you, and, a little bit more freedom and a few more rules.
Mm-hmm. Those guys are talking a lot about how to close games as, younger players in the league, and pointed to the fact that you guys know how because you're veterans. So what does it take, to close games like this?
Yeah. We got a lot of young guys too now, though. We got a lot of young guys. But no, there's like I think there is something about, finding the energy. We talked about it all the time, creating your own energy. And, one of the things we talked about was having the energy to finish a game, having the energy to finish an opponent. And today we found a way to do that. And it's complementary stuff. I mean, you'd like to say as an offense, you don't put your defense back out there on the field. We'd like to find a way to, come up with that third down conversion, and, be able to just wind the clock out there. We don't, but defense comes up huge, gets the turnover. So it's really about, playing off each other, trying to put yourselves in good spots, and knowing that when you get to that point, that it's late in the game, guys might be tired. You've seen a lot of looks.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally, there's a mental fatigue that goes along with that. There's just a little bit more dial in, a little bit more focus, a little more energy brought to it.
Are you surprised you didn't see that much Christian Gonzalez today? And what would you think of him on tape? How good is he?
He's a real good football player. They did some stuff where, when they were playing man, being able to move him over, give some corners over looks where you could kind of anticipate that they were going to get some of those man looks, and there was a lot of that. We saw a lot of that, a lot more cloud than they had shown. But typical of the last few weeks, we had struggled a little bit against it, and they came out and showed us it. I guess that makes sense.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. I'm giving him a long-winded answer here. But yeah, no, there is. I do think he's a real good football player. A lot of respect for him. He's fun to watch, and he's got a real bright future in this league.
Appreciate it.
This is one of the 2 or 3 youngest teams in the league. Do you see the growth week by week with these guys?
Yeah, there is. I mean, it is a young team, but man, these guys there's also a lot of experience involved with these guys that have played. Young guys that have played very meaningful football, have been through. You look at what last year was for these rookies and the ups and downs of it.
and how much that prepared them for what we're facing this year. There's been some highs, there's been some lows, and having to battle out of it and trust that, hey guys, this is a long process. It's a long season, and keeping the focus and not allowing yourself to get too down, and understand that there's work that can be done, and we'll be able to chip away at this thing and keep moving forward. As long as we can keep that energy going and keep that mindset of just moving on next week, how do we prepare?
What's the collective headspace or mindset when you know that, okay, it's got to be us, we've got to close this out?
Another drive, and especially this game. It was one of those games, not to take anything from New England, but we felt like we was hindering ourselves. It wasn't nothing. They were just out beating us, out dueling us, out coaching us, or nothing like that. It was penalties and miscommunication on our end. So we knew going into the drive, like, they didn't have nothing for what we could bring. So if we went out there and executed, it was going to be easy, just like it did. So
Byron gets that sack on second down, and then you obviously get the clinching interception. What's going through your guys' minds as a defense as those plays are unfolding?
Probably got to thank my boy, Kobe Durant. He the fortune teller. He called it out. He said it was going to be a sack, and he said I was going to catch a pick. So, that's the script writer right there. So every week it should be something like that.
Now everyone who follows the NFL knows he's the one writing the script.
Yeah. Kobe Durant.
On the interception, can you take us through what happened on that play and why all of a sudden now you're in the middle of all of these game-clinching type plays?
Yeah, 85 and 3 on the same side. That was their playmakers, feeding both of them throughout the whole game. So when they come down to the last drive, why would they go away to somebody else? So, once you seen 85 kind of go away and you seen May just iron 3 down in the middle of the field, of course it kind of look open, but I'm over the top. So, my first initial thought was to punch the ball out or force it incomplete, make a tackle. But once I seen how the ball was thrown and it was coming right to me and 3 wasn't adjusting, it was my opportunity to make a play.